y'all? What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, whatever time it is. I just got something to say really quickly. And this is off script a little bit. As I mentioned before, here on this channel, we keep it all the way real. If you know, you know. And as y'all know, I'm married. I have 3 young children. I am a believer and I'm a follower of Christ, but that does not make me a perfect person. I too sin. I too have issues that I am dealing with, that I am trying to get over. And one of those things is an addiction that I've had for some years now. And it may not make sense to people because, like I said, I am married. And so, as a married couple, we have that freedom and that privilege to sleep together, right? But my addiction that I've been battling with for the past few years is not watching the corn, but doing the stuff while watching the corn. I don't watch the corn anymore. I stopped watching that years ago when I was really younger. I started back up, I would say a few years ago, but it's never really been anything that's just really sucked me in, you know what I mean? But this other thing has sucked me in. And so I had stopped using, call it a massager, for, I must say, about 6 months. But I was having a conversation with my husband, and we use toys together, but I had a massager that I would just use by myself. And he said he was okay with it, but I know he really wasn't okay with it. And I think it was addictive. I don't know how else to put it, but it was. And so he was like, you can use it as long as you just like videotape yourself and then send it to me, and that's fine. Well, I didn't like doing that. So I would just do it in my private time, wouldn't tell him nothing like that. And it caused issues there, and then I would always feel convicted after using it. So I got to a point to where I would feel so bad after using it, and then any bad thing that happened to me in my life, I'd be like, it's because I did that. It's because I did that. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna stop. Threw all the stuff away, all the toys, and I was like, that way the temptation's not there. So I won't even have to be bothered with it. Well, recently I was having a conversation with my husband and we were talking about that. He was like, I didn't care that you had it. He mentioned it again. He's like, I took them and I hid them because you were always feeling convicted afterwards and you felt so shameful. So I just went ahead and took it upon myself to keep them so that you wouldn't go and use it and then feel bad after. He's like, but I really didn't care that you used it. And I was like, really? And I said, okay, so then if I were to get one now, you wouldn't care? He was like, I would not care. Well, I don't know why he said that for. And I don't know why I even asked that question for, more importantly. Because what I did was I got online, I ordered one, and it came in, and it was sitting in my closet for a good month. I hadn't used it at all. It was in my closet for a good month. Wasn't even thinking about it. Didn't have no urge to use it or anything. Then, about 3 days ago, I say maybe about a week ago, I was just sitting on my bed, chilling. I don't even think nobody was home at the time. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I can't remember. I just remember I was in my room. I was sitting on the bed. I was chilling. I had time to myself. And I started thinking about it. And then it would just kind of come and go, quick thoughts. And then it was like, well, you got time. You can use it now. You can go ahead and try to do it. Try to use it. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. So then I started going through this battle of I'm not, I could, I might, later. No, I'm not. And anytime that you go through anything like that, myself included, that means that you probably shouldn't do it. Because a decision should not be that difficult. It should not be that strong of a battle where you start getting anxiety about it and you are just so unclear and so indecisive on what it is that you should or shouldn't do, and you're trying to find reasons why to justify your reasoning why if you do it. You know what I mean? So it's like I should have known then and there, and I did know then and there, but I just was like trying to say things to justify, like, oh, well, my husband don't mind, and oh, it's not that bad, it is that bad, because let me tell you what happened. I ended up using it, and after I used it, I was like, all right, I ain't gonna do it again. Well, about a couple days later, because of that feeling that I had, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it one more time. And I kept feeling like the Lord was speaking to me, like, don't do this or else you shall die. Don't use this or else you will surely die. That's what kept going through my head. Now, I know those are some powerful words, but that's what kept going through my head. And then I started thinking about protection being lifted from my family because of my actions. But that still didn't stop me. That's the crazy part, because I went in and I did it again. And let me tell you, the second time I did it, I got up and my ears started ringing like crazy. It was like I couldn't hear. And it was just this loud ringing noise. And I was like, oh my gosh, it scared me. And it was just like instant fear just came over my body, from the ringing of the ears to the shame, to the guilt, to the, I shouldn't have did it. It was bad. I used to smoke marijuana when I was younger. It reminded me of then, because I would always smoke, and then I'd be high, and I'd be like, oh, I don't like to be high. I don't want to be high no more. And I pray, and be like, Lord, I don't want to be high no more. If you take this high away from me, I won't smoke again. But then I would repeat that cycle, and I would just be super paranoid. But it reminded me of that. And so anyway, I remember I got up and I walked into the kitchen, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And it didn't seem like it was going away. It seemed like it was there. And I was like, okay, Lord, you got my undivided attention now. Now, it shouldn't have went that far. It shouldn't have went that far. You know what I'm saying? Especially as far along as I am in my walk. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have even went that far. But what I did was I started praying, and I was just like, Lord, please forgive me. Have mercy upon me. Have mercy upon my family, my children. Like, just, Lord, I know there's going to be consequences to this, because he's a fair and just God. If we do something that we're not supposed to do, there's going to be consequences to it. You reap what you sow, right? But I just started praying and praying and praying and praying. And it was one of them raw prayers where it's like, I ain't trying to make it fancy or cute. Like, I'm just praying. And what happened was the ringing in my ear started to fade away. And then eventually it went away completely. But that fear was still there. And it was fear of the Lord. That's what that fear was. I was like shaken up at that point. And even still now, I'm better, and I'm still praying, and I'm still trying to make sure that I'm doing everything I need to be doing that's right and holy, right? I'm still, that really got my attention. And so what did I do afterwards, you may ask, or maybe you didn't ask? Well, immediately I went and I threw it away again. Yes, I wasted money again, and I don't even care. I was like, this gotta go, because ain't no way I'm gonna try to do this again. And right now I have no desire to even do anything like that anymore. And I just pray that that continues, And I thought that I was done 6 months ago, but then this happened. And so y'all pray for me. And my prayer is that anybody that's going through any type of addiction, you get out of it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it don't happen the first time around, the second time around, third time around. Sometimes you got to keep trying. And that's just where I'm at. But this was real, and God is real. And that ringing in my ears is something that I won't forget. And that feeling that was right after is something that I won't forget. And so I'm just like, it ain't worth it. Like a little high or a little pleasure for a good 10 seconds, it's not worth it. It's not worth losing your life over. Life is too short, and we have a life to live and a purpose to live. And see, the thing is, when I was younger and I was smoking marijuana, and I would say, I ain't gonna do this no more, I ain't gonna smoke no more, I didn't have nothing to lose, even if I did go back on my word. But today I have a lot to lose. I have 3 beautiful children, I have a husband. I'm like, I didn't have all that back then when I was smoking. But now I have a lot, and valuable people in my life, right? So I don't want to lose that. And so I still continue to ask for God's mercy. But the point of this and me sharing this is just that, take God seriously. Fear him. It's a difference between fearing him and being scared of him. but definitely fear the Lord because He is real and there are consequences to every action that we take, good or bad. Good actions reap good consequences. Bad actions reap bad consequences. And seriously, we don't know what those consequences are going to be. They may not happen immediately. They may happen later on down the line, to us, to our children, to the people attached to us. We don't know what that will look like. But again, God is a fair and a just God, and He keeps His word. So we know that, there are going to be consequences. But I just continue to pray that the Lord have mercy upon me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do it no more. So I know this is a little bit of a different video, but it was on my heart to do this. I really felt like the Lord was like telling me to do this because maybe it'll reach somebody who needed to hear this and hear my story. And so I hope that it does reach somebody, even if it's just one. But that's all I have for y'all. We will pick back up another time next week or so with some more videos and some more good topics about motherhood, about being a wife, and just about living in this life, this thing called life. So I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time of the day it is. Peace out.